Hello. All right, so today I wanted to talk to you about something that really doesn't affect me personally all that much, but it's really pissing me off. So I thought I would share my annoyance with you. Okay, so this is about school lunch. So first of all, this has nothing to do with our cafeteria ladies whatsoever. They're wonderful, they're sweet, kind, nice. They're nice to me, they're nice to the kids. I'm sure they're as mad as I am about all of this. Let's go back to the beginning. I'm trying to make this short. So, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, they stopped making desserts in the cafeteria, right? So they used to have a guy, I can picture him, his name was John. He would be the baker at our school. And he would actually make desserts. I'm sure it was a mix or something, I don't know. But I remember they had the big industrial mixers and they were always making something, and they would have the kids every day would have a little dessert on their plate, a cookie or a little piece of a sheet cake or something. I remember the banana cake was really good. And once in a while I would buy a piece of dessert or something, but I'm not really a big fan of school lunches in general, so I wouldn't really get the lunches. Uh, so, so I'm just saying that because I didn't really how I wasn't on the in with the school lunch knowledge, right? Once in a blue moon, I would buy something if they had grilled cheese was usually good, and they would have tomato soup for the teachers with it. So once in a blue moon, I would buy lunch, but I wasn't a big lunch buyer at school. Um, Mostly because a lot of it didn't look great. And a lot of it just didn't agree with me. And I have the stomach of a billy goat. I can pretty much eat anything and it doesn't bother my stomach. But there is something about something they use in the meat or something. I don't know what it is. But my friend and I even came up with a little phrase, if we ate school lunch and then had to go to the bathroom before the end of the day, we would call each other and say, "Oh, I have taco belly," which was code for I ate the tacos. It's bad news. I gotta go to the bathroom. And we would watch each other's class or whatever. So that was my extent with school lunches. Now, once they fired the bakers and they stopped putting desserts on the kids' plate and everything went to pre-made stuff. I don't think they actually make much of anything. I don't think they do the baked chicken anymore that I've seen in a while. Everything is pre-made, and a lot of the stuff comes in plastic bags and stuff already. There's I don't know if it's grilled cheese or some kind of cheese sandwich or whatever. It cooks in this plastic bag, so the plastic bag is all poofy when the kids get it. For a while, the milk was in a plastic bag. You try to pop a straw into a little jiggly bag of milk, bananas, right? Speaking of bananas, there's hardly any. There's always fruit, but there's apples that are already cut up. The kids don't really eat. Once in a while, there's pineapple in a package. Sometimes I'll make sure those don't go to waste, or full bananas. But the kids aren't really digging the fruit usually. So anyway, this is all a big, long, roundabout way of telling you that now I have learned some things about school lunch as far as the adult side of things go. I don't know if people are gonna think I'm stupid for thinking this or being annoyed by it. Okay, so school lunch for the kids I think is $1.75, which is a little bit whatever. It's fine. I don't know how. Whatever. It's $1.75. School lunch for the grown-ups was $2.75. I'm gonna say $2.75, and the portions were the same, whether you were a pre-K 3-year-old or a grown-up buying lunch. The portions were the same. If it was 5 chicken nuggets and 6 French fries and an apple or whatever it was, those are basically the same portions everyone was getting from 3 years old to a 55-year-old. And I wasn't really aware of all of this because, like I said, I didn't really buy school lunch all that much. But since this thing that I'm going to tell you has happened, stuff is brewing. Teachers are very upset, and rightfully so. And I don't know what's going on with my hair. And I learned that this was what was happening with lunches. Now, this is based on a forum of teachers from my whole county, not just my school. A lot of other teachers were weighing in from different schools and telling us, mostly elementary, I guess, this is what is going on, and everyone pretty much had a similar experience. So that in itself is kind of weird. Why, first of all, no matter how old you are, how little or big you are, everyone's getting the same amount of food is kind of weird. A 3-year-old and an 11-year-old or an almost 11-year-old, they're going to eat a different amount of food. Like those older kids need more food. The pre-K kids are probably wasting a lot of it, but whatever. I don't know about the logistics of portioning and how that would work out. I don't know. I know kids can buy double lunches. I know people can send in their own lunches from home. I get that. But whatever, that's what was going on. Now the adults being the same size as the kids portion is really was like blowing my mind. I'm like, really? This exact same size? Apparently, yes. So adults were paying $1 more for the exact same lunch. Like, how is that okay anyway? But I guess it went under the radar. Nobody really gave, a care about it, whatever. Well, last week, out of the blue, teacher lunches were raised to $4.75. $4.75 for a teacher lunch. The portion size hasn't changed. It is the same lunch that the kids get. So the same lunch that a 3-year-old or an 11-year-old will get at my school, adults will get, except adults will pay $4.75 now instead of $1.75, which is what the kids pay. And I guess the reasoning was cost, inflation, food supply, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's all very understandable. However, the raise that the school board offered us last year was less than 1%. Less than 1% average. Now, I could go into a whole thing about raises and how much money I've missed out on over the years and how our steps were frozen and blah, 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 to infinity. I could make 100 videos on that. But they have acknowledged that the cost of goods and prices for things like food has gone up so significantly that they had to raise the price. And I suck at math, but someone said it was 73% overnight for the exact same thing they were getting the night before. Meanwhile, we were offered less than 1% raise. Make it make sense. Like, I know teachers don't have to buy lunch at school. I get that. But why are we paying $4.75 for the exact same lunch that a child is paying $1.75 for? Now, somebody was going into some things and saying it was something about free and reduced lunch and how much they charge the government and what they get reimbursed and a difference and all this stuff and whatever. Okay, I don't know. I'm ignorant to that. I don't know if that's even true or that was just someone hypothesizing. I don't know. The fact remains, teachers are paying $4.75 for the exact same amount of food that a child is paying $1.75 for. And the children, whether you are 3 or almost 11, are getting the same amount of food as grown-ups. Is that crazy? Is it legal to charge more just because you're older? And if that's the case, why aren't they charging the older kids more than the younger kids? Now, education is a screwed up system. I'll be the first to admit it. There are a lot of problems. There are lots of things wrong in education for sure. This is not the biggest fish I have to fry. That's also for sure. But it's just like affecting so many people. When a lot more teachers than I realized actually ate lunch in the cafeteria because it's convenient, whatever. They like the food, it's easy, whatever was cheap. Now it's not cheap. Now you can, you're better off buying your own lunch, bringing something in from home. And a lot of people I know who used to eat the school lunch were saying, well, that's it. It doesn't make sense anymore. It's too expensive for what it is. So they're just going to see a big decline in teachers buying lunch. Maybe that's what they wanted. Also, another point was brought up that it's not just teachers who are being charged this money. It is anybody who works at the school, custodians, clerical, paras, whatever your job title is. If you're a grown-up and you go to buy school lunch, that's how much it's going to cost you. So, the point was made that there are a lot of people who are not being paid, even a teacher salary. Like, our salary is not great for what we do. But what other people in this school make is a pittance. It's ridiculous. I don't know how they survive on the money that they're making. And if they were counting on school lunch as a reasonable lunch, price for them to have a good meal in the middle of the day or whatever, now you just priced them right out of a good meal also. So the least you can do is offer your employees lunch at a reasonable price. There were some private schools, charter schools, some people working in different areas, different parts of the country that were chiming in saying that, teacher lunch is free at their school, that teachers were offered other special things at their school, like salads with real chicken on it, and, special things that the kids don't get that you could buy or whatever, which I'm sure our ladies don't have time for that or can't do it. I don't know what the case is, like I said, but that's not happening here. Years ago, it did. I remember there were salads. There was like a little salad bar even that teachers could go to. I remember there was like a baked potato thing like once a week that teachers could get like a baked potato bar or something like that. But like I said, I was never really big into buying school lunches. And again, this doesn't affect me because I don't buy school lunches, but it just really is pissing me off. Like, what is happening that it is okay to raise the price of a lunch, whatever it was, 72% or 73%, whatever it was, overnight to get the exact same thing that the kids are getting, and effectively admitting costs are high, food costs are out of control, while on the other side of your mouth you're saying, oh, but we are only going to give you a 0.5% raise or whatever it is, or no raise, or hey, be lucky you have a job. It's pretty much the sentiment from there. Not even acknowledging like what's going on. And the waste, and when people say there's no money for raises, there's money for raises. There's money for raises. If I wanted to get fired, I could document so many things, so many ways that there's waste in the school system, how much money is just thrown in the garbage, basically. There's a lot of waste. There are purchases that no one asked for. There are, I'll give you one quick example. During the pandemic, when we were all rushing to figure out how to teach from home, overnight, they made a huge purchase of these, I think they were called polycams. And it was like a camera that basically followed you around the room. And while you were teaching at school, it would follow the teacher so the kids could check in online and watch online while the teacher was teaching. And it was supposedly track you through the classroom. That was a purchase that was decided upon without teacher input, initiated, purchased so fast. I'm going to say they were like $900 each or some expensive, ridiculous amount of money. Unnecessary purchase because not everybody had them, number one. And it was a short-term problem, and they put a long-term solution in place. So all of those polycams that were purchased for $1 million or whatever it was, they're just sitting somewhere now collecting dust because we don't need them. Half the people never used them when they did have them. Some people I hear now are using them just as speakers because apparently the speakers are good in them. That's just one example of just money. When they needed it, they found it, but they can't find money for teacher raises. That's just one example, and there are many, 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 many. So, so this is pissing me off, even though it really doesn't affect me. Like I said, I don't buy school lunches. I do miss the cake. I have looked up copycat school banana cake recipes before. I remember the peanut butter cookies from my childhood even, because I started in kindergarten in the same school district where I'm teaching. I miss that. I miss like the cute little dessert or whatever. But what do you think? What do you think, my friends? Weigh in. I would love for us to start having some conversations, Let me know what you think about this. Do you think it's right that the school lunch costs the same for everybody across the board? Everyone's getting the same portions across the board? The teachers were raised to $4.75 for, let's say, average lunch is 5 chicken nuggets that were frozen, heated up chicken nuggets, and a bag of apples, and a bag of milk, and whatever, green beans or whatever it is that day. I mean, someone could probably counter that, that's, you can't go out to a restaurant and buy it for that much, but trust me, these are not restaurant quality meals, number one. And number two, why is it fair? Why is it fair? One of my favorite sayings is, and has been for a long time, fair doesn't mean that everyone gets the same thing. Fair means that everyone gets what they need. And this is, I think, a perfect example of that. It's not fair for everyone to get the same thing here at lunch, and everyone is not getting what they need.